If your nib's too slow and your ink won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to help you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
And we are on.
We're on, and the young man there with the blue pen in his hand, how are you? Did you have a question for Frank or Craig?
Hello. Hello. For me. Hi. How are you?
What kind of polish? What kind of things do you find underwater?
You name it. You name it. Gold, silver, emeralds, shark's teeth, all kind of stuff. Even modern day anchors, 55-gallon drums, rebarb, everything. Pipes. I found a shipwreck one time, had a train on it. It was going to Panama to build a Panama Canal, so I found a train on the bottom of the ocean on a ship.
Wow.
Off Key West, Florida.
That's amazing.
Okay, I'm hearing some background music. If somebody is not speaking, you might mute your mic.
Trinkets to be unceremoniously swindled. Legend has it. Can we...
Good job, Frank.
Okay, folks, once again, anybody that's new on here, if you have any questions and you want to ask Frank from Federalist Pens or Craig, this is your time to do it.
Hey, Craig, put up one of your drawings that you do using the fountain pen ink. And then say something so it'll register.
Aborigines girl. That's 2 colors of ink, colorverse.
Kind of looks like Frank.
Is it clear? Because I got some weather over me right now.
Yeah, that's a good shot right there.
Okay.
Oh.
What else would you like to see?
I want to see that Frankenstein picture.
I don't have Frankenstein. Frank's got that one.
Oh,
Frank's
there
got
it
my,
is,
Frank's got my good stuff.
There it is. I love that picture. That picture rocks.
Okay, so this ink is done in Frankly Green from Robert Oster, which you guys know. I was Rob's first U.S. dealer. I started with him in 2016 with 36 colors. He's got well over 20 U.S. dealers alone now. And I debuted at the 2016 DC Pen Show. And he took a chance on me because I was only in a year in retail.
Hello, Wayne.
I'll show you. You start tapping when you see the light, like this.
Hello, Sam.
Hey, Craig, how are you?
A lot.
Good. Go ahead, Frank.
I got Eric.
Hi.
We got a few. We're doing good here.
Okay, here's the new pen bug that Craig designed for us.
This is the grandson now. It's the grandson. La, 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 la.
Hey, Frank, what would you say is your most popular pen brand that you sell?
Most popular pen brand has generally been Lamy or Pilot. Recent months, because of our lockdown, it's kind of like a hodgepodge of a little bit of everything. But at pen shows, definitely Pilot and Lamy moves, and so does a lot of my unique stuff, like Opus 88, Magna Carta, Constellations 88, stuff that I am actually the only U.S. dealer of, and things like that. So yeah, but Lamy and Pilot are definitely staples in the business. I Been with Visconti now a year, and of course they're selling well. And Larry, you know about that.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
We got a
I
couple
know
more
a lot
things.
about that. Yeah.
I have a question for Larry and Craig and Frank.
Uh-oh.
And I always have to ask this question. I know it's a terrible question because it's so subjective. Favorite pen?
Oh.
Like if you had to get rid of all other pens, you could have one. I can't answer this question because I'm totally indecisive. So I have, like, on my desk in front of me, I have 20 pens right now because I'm indecisive. But if you had to pick, like, your number one you're gonna go to, what would it be?
Whoa. Oh, man, that's a tough question. I've been asked that for years and years, and I've been avoiding that question like for years and years. But now, see, I go into my drawers.
Well, you do go to your Mont Blanc 149 pretty often.
Yeah, Mont Blancs, but I do like my Viscontis, though. I mean, it's my pilots. You know, it's just Pelicans, Deltas. Lord, it's
tough to pick.
It's just what I mean.
For Craig, it's whatever has the broadest nib on it.
I have to decline because I just lose my mind. I just malfunction because
Not a problem. I always love asking it.
Yeah, Craig.
Well, wait, if Craig, if you're big into broad nibs, and Frank Craig, have you tried the Opus 88 2.3 millimeter?
The paintbrush.
I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Craig, you are on mute. It's okay. Upper right on the pad, it'll say mute. It's crossed. Uncheck it.
All right, how about now?
Okay, you're on.
Can you hear me now?
You're
Can you hear
on.
me now?
Good.
Can you hear me now?
Good.
All right. No, I have not tried that pen. I do like paintbrushes. If I had to pick, it's easy for me. If I had to, because I got like 5 of them. If I had to pick one pen, it would have to be Franklin Christoph's Pocket 66 posted. That
Good
feels
choice.
better in my hand. I don't have big hands, but I can write with it all day. It feels, that's what this whole thing's about. What works for you? Same thing when I teach scuba diving. What works for you? It might not work for me. I can't tell you how your shoes feel on your feet. They look all right, but I can't tell you. But no, the pen I would choose would be Franklin Christoph Pocket 66. I have to write with it posted, but I can do it all day.
Good choice. And Frank, you have a preference?
Opus, short answer, no, I don't. I was collecting fountain pens a good 10 years before I even dreamed about doing retail. And you guys, if you've seen my story with Larry, you know I've been collecting pens basically most of my life. It's well over 40 years. My dad was always into ballpoints and roller balls, and he was never into fountain pens. And then once I got influenced to get into fountain pens, I got him into fountain pens, and the rest is history. But, you know, I'd been on forums for years. I ran a forum, and I finally decided the middle of this decade, this past decade, I was like, you know what, I'm ready to do retail. And the rest is history, but I had sold on forums on eBay for years prior to that, vintage mainly. And I was going to explain Opus. Opus is a well-liked brand, but it drives people crazy because Opus is the only brand that uses both Bach and Jovo. And depending on the model, that's the one you're gonna have to work with. You know, because, you know, I sell loose Opus 88 nibs as well, but you can only use certain ones. I mean, if you have a nib block and you want to unseat it and all that, that's fine. But otherwise, you have to deal with either the box section or the Jovo section. So I'm going to show you some new ones too. The Demo, the Coloro, the Omar, all use Jovo. The Jazz, the new Jazz also uses Jovo. I actually have them. I just stayed for life. It is pretty.
Yeah.
Let me show that while I've got your attention.
I have a special place in my heart for Opus 88.
This is the new Jazz. This is basically based on the Omar. It has a little more black, a little more dark little more opaque in the barrels than typical Opus. Still got the typical Opus eyedropper, of course. And you open this up to vary the line, of course, on that. Like I said, these are the Yovo nibs. If you look closely, you can see the Yovo symbol on them. You know that's the Yovo. And all of the Jazz caps are black. A lot of people aren't crazy about the Omar demo because you can stain it, you know, and things of that nature. So Omar comes either a colored cap according to the color of the pen, or a Omar demo. It has a clear cap with the end point being the color of that barrel. So this is the new Jazz. This is also working with the Yovos. The newer pens, the Flow, the Bella, and the Flora, the flower pot. If you've ever seen this pen,
I got one.
This pen is actually pretty cool. This pen looks like a vase sitting on top of your desk. It's got a little ellipse up top that looks like a flower pot.
Interesting, yeah.
It's a big pen. It's really cool.
Huh.
So
When I first got mine, I was like, oh nope, and I sat it down, and after about a day, I walked by and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. It's been on my desk filled ever since.
Is it? And those three are Bach. And if you look at it closely, you can see there is a difference there. There is a symbol for Opus 88 on them, and they're Bach nibs. And I sell them loose. Extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and yes, stub. The Bach stub is a 2.3. The Yovo stubs are 1.5 in the larger number 6, and they're 1.4 in the Coloro number 5. Hope that didn't confuse anybody, but if you visit my site, I explain all that.
Okay,
And
Craig,
the
we've got a
2-3 is fun. You just got to go a little slow with it.
Hold on, Craig, we got a question. Go ahead, Mr. Announcer.
Someone asks, what is your favorite ink to use for drawing? And also curious, what size nibs do you use for drawing?
I use all size nibs and small artist paintbrushes. My favorite ink, if I had to pick one, would probably be Mont Blanc. Just because the cleanup, it's real fountain pen friendly. And I can use it in inexpensive pens and very expensive pens.
What medium do you draw on? Is it regular art canvas or something else?
No, well, I too, anything. My favorite, which is I have more control over, is Bristol paper or Bristol board. Like here's Marilyn Monroe on Bristol board, Bristol paper, just white. I don't know if that's showing up clear or not. I've got some weather. But no, I got everything. Tumbleway River, watercolor paper if it's not too absorbent. That bug I did for you was on Yopo paper, which is really plastic. That's about it.
And we have a comment from Jackie on chat. The Jazz is a gorgeous pen. Anybody else have a question? Jump in.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Has the archaeologist, what's his name again? Did he ever get attacked by an animal, like just diving?
No.
No. Are you scared of animals underwater?
No.
Okay.
No. I've ridden on the back of sharks before. And I was working on the Etosha with Mel Fisher, and I had a dive partner, Jack, and we were blowing holes which are craters under the water. And visibility was 0. Anytime you stir up the bottom, visibility goes to 0. And law of the jungle is little fish come in and big fish come in. And my dive buddy was Jack. He was over there somewhere. I couldn't see him. And I felt something tap on my shoulder, and I knew it was Jack. It tapped on my shoulder again, and I turned around and looked, and it was a 6-foot stingray. And they were just looking for something to rub on. I always wear gloves, and I just rubbed between his eyes. It seemed like 5 minutes, probably wasn't that long. And he just swam off. That was it. But no, I mean, it's like dogs, you know, if you go around a lot of dogs, there's always one that's aggressive. And if sharks or anything's aggressive, get out of the water, but just go slow. Don't panic. But for the most part, they've never seen a human. They're just curious. I've swam with whales, sharks, you name it, barracuda, you name it. Stingrays, bigger than I am.
I got a question for everybody out there right now. Since Visconti is not doing the Dream Touch nib anymore, and they're using the in-house, the 18Ks and the 14Ks now, has anybody tried those nibs out? If so, what's your opinion about those nibs, the 14, 18K against the Dream Touch? Anybody?
So I did a review for them right when they first started making those in-house. It was the Medici series, and they're freaking phenomenal. Really, really impressed with them. The first review that I ever did was of their, I'm going to say the name wrong, Pininfarina is the one that's the race car inspired one. So it actually looks like the old style Schaefer, like tubular nib. And it was terrible. I messaged them and I said, hey, if you want me to, like the tines, my camera's over here. The tines were like this when I opened the box.
Wow.
And I messaged them and I said, hey, do you want me to fix this? And they're like, yeah, if you want to, go ahead and fix it. So but I called it out. It's, you know, it was a miss at quality control. But the new ones, I actually got it in 3 different sizes because I reviewed each of the color lines, and they're amazing. They're insanely responsive. They got a little bit of bounce to it. The coloring and the stamping on it are amazing. All 3 of them performed flawlessly out of the box. I didn't have to do anything with them. And I even I messaged Michael Hujar from Coles of London, who had sent them to me to review. And I said, he didn't tell me they had changed the nibs. And I said, did you do something special with these nibs before you sent them to me? And he's like, they're making them in-house now. And I'm like, they're nuts. Like, it's game changer. I would like, my response to him was, that's like Conklin switching to Yovo nibs. Like, night and day difference.
Like, okay, I have the 18Ks. I have the Crystal Dream and the Blue Lagoon. And sweet. And nibs are to die for, just to die for. But I need to say this, on the Dream Touch nibs that I own, they rock. I mean, I've never had an issue with any of my Dream Touch nibs, and people just don't get it. They say, well, how can that be? I said, maybe I'm just lucky. My Dream Touch nibs are really sweet. But now those 18K, maybe just a little bit sweeter. But they're nice, wet, they're smooth, have great ink flow. They're just a nice nib. Just a nice nib.
I was completely blown away to the point where I called Michael and said, hey, so do I really need to send these back to you? Because I would very much like to keep them. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, I was like, yeah, you know, I'd rather pay my mortgage for the month than not send those back.
Sure, you can send it. You can keep it for like $1,000. You can have it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they were beautiful. They were beautiful. I got the box and I opened it and I didn't even touch them for like 2 days. I was so afraid that I was going to mess them up. And they're beautiful. But yeah, I agree. The Dream Touch, I've had one that I've used that was bad, minus that tubular nib. And I don't think that one was called Dream Touch. It was something else. They had a different name for that model. And the one that I borrowed from a friend to try out, and it was like scratchy and skippy. And then the 3 new ones were amazing.
So Frank, I guess I'm the only one going to ask the question. So anyway, so Frank, here's one for you. Bach versus Jowo, which is better and why? Or are they both on that same level, just a different type of nib?
They're pretty similar, and the legend, the urban legend, is Yovo Steel and Bach Gold. That's like that's the saying that goes around Pendom. You know, it's really up to you. They're both good. You make them both work. The whole idea of having a pen is you find the sweet spot that works best for you when you're working with your pen. You know, but most people swear by Bach Gold. And people seem to find Yovo steel a tad more smooth. And, you know, I don't notice much of a difference, but it really depends on you.
Let me go back just a little bit here about favorite pen, because now I'm going to be a hypocrite here for a little bit. A really sweet pen that doesn't get enough love. Let's go back vintage, baby. Let's go all the way back, okay? Let's go back to the Parker 51 with the gold nib. I have 3 of them. Sweet, 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 and double sweet. Yeah, love them. Does anybody out there have any Parker 51s? If you don't have one, you need to get one. Don't you have any, Frank?
I do. I collected vintage for a while. Start off, half of my personal collection is vintage, and a good bit of it is actually modern now for the sake of me having a demo. That's one of my things. If you visit my tables, you know, I basically have something inked from all the pen brands that I sell, so you can try them. And yeah, I like Esterbrook. I like Wall. I like Wall Arbor Sharp Skylines. I like Targas from Schaefer. They're almost like modern pens. You can't even say they're vintage, but you know, the argument's always like, when does a pen become vintage and when is it modern?
Yeah,
it's somewhere between a Parker 45 and a Targa. You know, that somebody says, okay, this is modern and this is vintage. You know, mainly because, you know, both of them take modern cartridges, you know, because they were the first pens pretty much to have them. Well, Schaefer's had the Schaefer's family before it got liquidated, the Trifon and all in the mid 60s. They were using their cartridges at that point, you know, but still.
Okay, we got a question up here, and then I'm going to ask a question.
Now, a couple of questions from chat. Craig, do you have a favorite location to go diving in?
Nah, saltwater, freshwater, it's all the same to me. I've been ice diving several times. I really like the tropics. You know, I like warm water where you don't have to wear a wetsuit. And if it's clear, got good visibility, that's great. And nobody likes to dive. I've done it before too, black water or brackish water. So
yeah, I would imagine visibility would be a good characteristic to have.
Here's another one.
That helps. That helps.
Okay, here's one for anybody who can answer. Are all the new Visconti 18K nibs made in-house?
Take it, Pingate.
As far as I know, everything is made in-house. All their marketing materials that refer to that being is made in-house.
Yeah, same here. That's what I've heard too. Yeah.
Yep. I know, actually, that seems like that's been a big move now for a lot of the companies that do gold nibs. They're starting to bring stuff in-house, just because it's been hard with COVID and for like the last couple of years to get like the main big gold nib makers are Bach and Yovo, and you know they can't keep up with the volume that some of these companies are requesting. So it's cheaper to bring it in-house.
Oh yeah, definitely a cost factor.
Yep.
My last blog has to do with that. If you guys read my newsletter blog on my site, you'll see how I talked about how the rising cost of gold and silver are going to affect a lot of things, you know, in the coming months and years.
I got a question for anybody that wants to answer it. What makes a pen a vintage pen? Or how can a pen get to vintage? Either way.
That's kind of what I was talking about a couple minutes back when I talked about, you know, where do you draw the line? Some people really consider somewhere in the 60s to be the turning point between vintage and modern. You know, something that's pre-70 is considered vintage, you know, things like that. Depends, it's subjective. Most experts will tell you it's somewhere around there, you know, the point where it changed. Some people, like I said, will argue that a Targa is modern, or a 45 is the point where it stops being vintage, or a Parker 45 is still vintage, you know.
Okay,
there's different schools of thought.
Sorry.
No.
Norm has a question. Norm, if you want to hit your space bar and ask, or if you want to put it in the chat.
No. There you go, Norm. All yours.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep. Look, just wanted to comment on a couple of things. A minute or so ago, you were talking about Parker 51s. You were talking about vintage more recently. I'm just sitting here at my desk, and I just thought I'd show you this. This little pen here, just to give you an idea of size, that's a Strassman 805.
Okay.
This is a swan, I think, or a blackbird, which is a subsidiary swan, and it's engraved FC Brown, I think, 22/8/1914. So that's over 100 years old.
Wow.
First World War vintage. Now, really old pens have got what they call an over and under feed. I don't know if you can see that. But there's a feed underneath. There's also a feed on top.
Yeah, I see it.
So, yeah, a lot of people don't really get it. It's an eyedropper, which I can take or leave, to be honest with you. Yeah, since you're talking about vintage pens, I just wanted to show that feed. Because
and what is the reason for the double feed like that?
Well, I don't know, Larry. All I can suggest is it's a very early pen before it evolved to a fountain pen as we know it. It's sort of halfway between a dip pen and a fountain pen. When you look at the inside of the section, there's in there, you can't really see it, but there's a bit of coiled wire that's a feed.
Okay.
Sometimes that wire comes out an inch or so. But I think there was this thought that, you know, you feed ink to the top and the bottom of the nib. And it's a very, very fine, very soft, flexible nib. Almost.
Yeah,
very,
I see it. It's pretty. I do like it.
Yeah, and it still writes, it still goes. I don't use it much.
Do you use it a lot?
Very few, very rarely. Like a lot of eyedroppers, it burps and blobs a little bit. But by and large, it still works fine. So
I do know, just from my experience with the vintage, the overfeeds were a way to prevent the pens from drying out because it saturates from both sides, so it prevents the ink from evaporating. Sailor did it for a while. And the only reason why I learned that was I found that in an estate sale, a precursor to the Sailor 1911 called the Sailor Imperial, and it had an overfeed. And I was like, this is really weird. And I talked to Bert from Bertram's, and I sent him a picture of it, and he explained that the thought process, and it does work. I've actually left the pen sitting out for about an hour, and it still wrote. It didn't dry out. Is the feed that was on top would essentially keep like a layer of ink sitting on top of the nib, and then you had the feed on the bottom that was still saturated, so that it essentially worked almost like a sandwich. It just kept the inside wet, so that when you'd start writing again, it would hit the feed immediately. They got away with that. They got away from that when they stopped using like ebonite feeds on a lot of pens. Like, this is random stuff I picked up from pen shows, but that's one of the things. In the 60s, Wherever did it on their pennants.
Okay.
And then Wall Eversharp did it on a number of their pens, and I think Pilot on their Justice. It's that little slide out piece that controls the firmness of the nib. Also works as an overfeed.
How does the overfeed compare to a hooded nib? Do they work very similarly?
Same principle. Yeah, it just keeps the nib wet from both sides so that it prevents it from drying out.
Okay, we've got.
I'm surprised more companies don't use that, honestly.
We got a question for Frank from the chat. What is a brand that you do not sell now that you would love to sell, and have you ever approached them to build a partnership?
No, not that I can really think of. I was just answering that one because I've added some new brands. I'm always adding new brands. You know, I've just added Caran d'Ache to the site, inks, and I'm working on the pens. This is actually Caran d'Ache's 849. It comes in some real cool colors. So this is fluorescent green, and it comes in 8 cool colors. It's their 849. It's just like their 849 ballpoint. So this is their EDC fountain pen. It lists for $65. It's cartridge converter fill. It takes a standard cartridge converter. It's going to be $52 on the site. I'm actually working on listing them now. The inks are already on there. I sell the inks and the cartridges. Pens, because I'm always looking to add. There's some pen brands that, you know, I've experimented with. I've had some hit or misses with some personal brands stuff. I took a chance on representing. Oster, of course, was a big hit. That went well beyond me. Someone, everybody knows Anna Reiner, Well Pointed Desk. She bought the first bottle off me at the 2016 DC show. She bought it even before we started because she heard about it. And I think she talked to Rob Oster, and then she came over and bought the first bottle off me, offline even before we started. And I'm sure she told Lisa Vanessa to carry the ink. And before you know it, he's got 20 dealers, like I said, in the U.S. And he went from 36 brands, 36 different colors now to well over 150. And I've got my 4, which, you know, you guys know, and I'll get into later. But this is the Karen Dash ballpoint. This is a latest brand called the Paul Smith. This is a limited edition that they work with a New York artist. So it comes in this rainbow here, different colors.
I like the shape of that and the color of that.
Yeah, it's hexagonal. This is character of Karen Dash. They've been doing this shape in ballpoints for decades. They used to have, they just still do have the Ecuador line, and it used to be solid sterling silver, and they still have that pen, but it's several $100s now. So because of cost and all that, you know, so they have different types of Ecuadors. They have Le Mans line. So I'll be representing the Ecuador, the Le Mans, these 849 pens, which are really nice everyday pens. So generally I'll have stuff stocked that's, you know, it's under $9.99 list, you know, on the site and all. Karen Dash has pens in the thousands because some of them are precious, jewel studded and all that, and we won't get into that, but yeah, but they have all that. It's a family owned company. Karen Dash cartridges, ink bottles. If you know about the Karen Dash inks.
Yeah, I didn't know you were carrying Karen Dash.
I just got it in. This
yeah,
past
some nice
week.
bottles. Yeah, I do like
I
that.
need,
yeah.
I need a bottle of gray.
You actually have to keep this bottle.
I like the bottle.
Of this bottle. Yeah, because that kind of basically levels it off on a desk. Because when it sits.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that is so cool.
It's filling.
Yeah.
It makes filling a lot easy, but if you open it when it's full, you're going to have a little bit of a mess on your hands. So when you first get it and it's new, you want to have it on your desk like that where it's leveled.
Okay.
Until at least gets about a quarter of the way down.
Gotcha.
That's how you want it on your desk until it gets down a little bit, and then you can hold it that way.
I guess I'm going to have to order one of those. Check that out now.
Okay, we've got another.
If you're not a box keeper, you definitely want to keep the bottom of this guy, at least getting started, like I said.
Gotcha.
So they come that way. There's 12 different colors in the bottles and in the cartridges. I also added diamine this month. So I have the standard 30-ounce diamine in the recycled plastic, kind of like what Oster does as well. Something they've traditionally done for a while now. I have them. I also have the cartridge packs, which they call the variety packs. They are really, they did this even before Monty Verdi Inks did. They've done a sampler pack, even before Private Reserve as well. So they've always done sampler packs. So they have 6 or 7 different sampler packs, and I'm holding the Classic and the Elegance here. The Classic has Prussian Blue, Blue Black, Umber, Warm Brown, Jet Black. You get 20 cartridges in a pack, 4 of each, 5 of each one. The Elegance has teal, midnight, oxblood, which is a popular color.
Yeah.
So I have most of the standard diamine cartridges. I also have the guitar inks that have just come out as well that people find pretty popular. So I have them as well. I've added them. I told you about the newest Opus 88 pens. I answered somebody's question about them. You don't get double broad with Opus. You do have to go from broad to stub. And like we talked about, the 2.3 Bach paintbrush, it is pretty thick. I also added 3 oysters this month. Well-liked brand from Korea. And these are the same size. These are 38 milliliter.
Yeah, I got one of those, yeah.
3 oysters. I also have them. I'll be looking to have them reviewed sometime. Larry, maybe I'll send you 1 or 2 of these. So this is their Delicious line. This is their purple gray, which is a really nice color. That's the Delicious pen line. This is the I Color You line, which is based on the colors of Seoul, South Korea, Republic of Korea. So they have them. So they have different colors and all. And this is the Giwa, Giwa, which is kind of a very nice dark green. That's meant to resemble the rooftops from moss being on them and stuff like that. So they're doing things of that nature, and that's 3 oysters. And those are the things that I've added in August.
Okay.
So to answer somebody's question, I'm always looking to add brands. If someone wants to have me represent them, I'm glad to represent them. Always looking for new brands.
All right, now.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions coming in on the chat. One for Larry. Is there a certain pen that you've never been able to review that you would love to have?
Okay, I'm going to need some help from the pen geeks on this one. All right, here we go. Now, here's the pen that blows me away, and I'm going to say it wrong. A pen that before I die, I have to have it in my hands and just to die over it. It's the LV5, and is that what it is?
Yeah.
I hear they're high dollar. I don't know what high dollar is, at 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, but I hear all these great things about it. That's the one that my sights are set on. Okay.
Okay, another quick general question. Any news on when the next pen show will be? I know they don't think all the ones for this year have been canceled.
Yeah.
There are 2 possibilities left, but you know, the jury's out. There's still Columbus Halloween weekend, and there's still the possibility of Detroit too in mid-November.
Okay.
They're still on the calendar officially.
On the subject of vintage, are there any vintage pens that you consider to be over or underrated? Who wants to answer?
I personally think the Parker 51 is overrated.
Why is that?
So I've had 2 of them, and I've gotten rid of both of them.
Really? I've got 3, and I love them.
So, for my own personal preferences, I'm not a huge thin fan of like thin pens. And like you can see, I got like Gorilla Paw. Like, putting in perspective, this is a Conklin Durograph. Like, I've got like Gorilla Paw hands, and it didn't work for me. I got it and I had it restored, and I was like set. I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing, and it just didn't do it for me. I'm also a big fan. I'm now getting out of that. I like to see the ink levels in my pen. So that was like a major deal breaker for me. And the friction cap, I like screw-on caps because I throw them in my shirt pocket and I put them in my pants pocket. So like, I don't know. I understand it. Like, I have tons of respect for the people who like avidly collect all the variations. But it never really did anything for me.
Cool.
Yeah, but I think for the same like underrated, I think like the vintage Schaefer pens, the Schaefers from like the 30s, 40s, 50s, I think were absolutely amazing. And even like on the like the vintage market, you can get a completely restored Schaefer snorkel for like $80. And I think it's one of the most ingenious pens and brilliant design mechanisms ever. And most of their pens were gold nibs. So like even the vintage like regular pens, like the touchdown fillers or like they're like tuckaways and things like that, you can get restored for between $80 and $100, and they will blow anything modern away until you start getting into like the higher end like flex gold nibs. But and same a lot of the vintage like even vintage Pelican are phenomenal. I mean, you can get a vintage Pelican with a gold nib for the price of a modern 205 with a steel nib.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I know I'll make enemies saying that the Parker 51 is overrated, in my opinion. I know I'm gonna get hate mail later
That's
for
good,
that one.
yeah. Everybody's different, okay? They're all different. Yeah. Bam! I'm close. I meet the great God, and he just blessed me. Oh!
Okay, here's
There goes all of my subscribers.
Here's another quick question. How did Frank and Larry meet?
Oh, Oh, that's a good one.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Rehab.
I forgot. Oh.
No, go ahead. You can tell him.
I don't know.
You approached me.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You wrote me. Yes, you.
Yeah, I
me.
wrote. Yeah, no, I wrote you. It took a while to get back, didn't it?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't. I'll be lying. I don't.
You wrote me telling me you ran it. You ran a channel, YouTube channel, and all. You were interested. In having pens to review, and I'm like, yeah, I do know you. You know, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we watched. Yeah. And then we became buds. So yeah, we're cool. Yep, that's all it was. Pin it first bite. That's it. Bam.
I'm really impressed with all the people on board here. I'm looking at this. I see a lot of pen pals. My brother's here. Let's see. I see Stan. I see Ken, Tony, Dave's here.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
You got on mute, Mark.
Where is Mark?
Upper right on the iPad there.
Okay.
It'll say Mark Federalist Pens. There he goes.
Yeah, sorry.
There he is.
I'm always on mute because I'm so used to trying to keep, you know, if I call like that, you know, it doesn't interrupt anything. So.
There's Mark. All right. That's the little brother, Mark. All right. Yeah.
Okay, here is another question for anybody. Has anyone had the opportunity to check out the new magnetic filling system on the Pen BBS 487 or 492?
I've had a couple friends review it, but I have not. I've used the 350. I have the 355 bulk filler sitting on my desk, and that is a sick pen. and they're 500 button filler, which is really cool. They're an underrated brand, honestly. I think they make some pretty quality stuff with some pretty cool mechanisms. But the feedback that my friend gave me about their magnetic filler is it's overcomplicated, and it's definitely not for a beginner, and it's kind of gimmicky. Because you have to move really, really slowly because the magnet it'll pop off, so you'll miss the piston.
I got a question for Frank. Frank, what is the biggest seller in your place right now? Do you have one certain item that's really hot this year?
Okay. I mentioned before about it shows how Pilot and Lamy sell really well. This year, actually, it's been platinum. Platinum's moving a lot. You got the Curitis pen, which is actually a big hit. I had someone else review the pre-font pens. Sorry, Larry. Had someone else.
Did, yeah. Okay. Payback.
Stepping out.
I'll take care of this real quick. My brother.
No, it's okay. No. I'm done now. I sent that off to someone else who may or may not necessarily be known for reviewing a lot of fountain pens. I sent that off to somebody, and that took off. I've been selling a lot of pre-fonts because of that. Yeah, the platinums, a lot of good new things out there. You got the new teal Plaisir. In fact, they got 10th anniversary Plaisirs coming out. They are going to be available in about a month or two.
Yeah.
We got them. We got a lot of new things. I call it pens in the pipeline. If you follow my blog or my newsletter, I call it pens in the pipeline. To go along with my pens at the library and pens at the mall. Most of you know I run pop-ups here in the Philly area, the Delaware Valley. I'm going to be back at the mall, hopefully for the holidays in December. The malls are opening again here in Jersey, so I'm looking forward to that. And I run pop-ups besides the shows and all. And yeah, it goes quite well because I like the idea of still being online only, home-based. And there is the pre-font. Yep.
Yeah, I've done it anyway.
I like
a while back.
Preppy. Yeah, I don't even put the Preppy on my site anymore. I give Preppies away as bonus pens now.
Yeah, I love that pen.
I love those pens. I do a lot of art.
I like them. I mean, they're a fun pen, you know.
I feel between the Preppy, the pre-font, the Plaisir, you know, you got 3 different models there with the same section front.
And you got the right here.
I think the Preppy is the ultimate pen-abling pen. If you have somebody who's like, I normally keep a box of like 10 of them with me. If you have somebody who's getting into pens, that is a great pen to get people hooked in pens with.
Yeah.
You know it's going to work. It's always going to run. It won't dry out. It's a great for introduction.
Yeah. Usually if you buy something off me, I will include something, as everybody knows, I'll throw a Preppy in there. If you buy something, a little higher end and all, I'll figure that. I'll include samples in inks. I'll include blotter cards from inks. I'll include my book clip, The Brooch, if you buy an Endless Recorder Journal, which is the 68 Tomo River recorder from Endless Brands. I include that. I always include something.
Yeah, here it is right here.
There's the Endless Journal now. Yep.
Right there, yeah.
They're great.
Excellent, excellent. Love it.
They're 68 gram Tomo River paper. They come in 4 colors and they come in 4 modes. They come blank, squared, lined, and dotted. All 68 gram Tomo, and it's tremendous. Well liked.
What was I going to ask you?
Yeah, I was just fixing to do something about that. Okay, see if 2 people can get the hint here.
I can't see the little questions come up. I want to fit in. It seems like everyone wears eyeglasses. Let me put on my reading glasses so I can see this stuff. Okay, that's better.
Okay, I think
I got an idea. Go ahead.
We're talking earlier in the week. There might be some sort of a duel going on.
Okay, I got an idea.
You do? I do?
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Give something away. Frank, I'll give something away if you'll give something away, Frank.
Maybe.
All right.
Got him on the spot.
Let's hear it.
I'll give away a bottle of ink. Will you give away a bottle of ink?
Oh, sure. Of course.
All right, I'll do 2.
2?
So that means the winner gets 4.
How about we make it 3 bottles each?
Oh, he just placed the ante on you, Craig. Oh.
6 bottles. We can do 3, or I can double dog dare you to do 4.
Uh-oh. Okay, folks, that means the winner. Hey, folks, wait a minute. That means the winner of this is going to get all these inks. Wow.
All right. Let's do 4.
Okay, my man's starting to sweat here a little bit. Okay,
Someone's
heavy.
So that's
I don't have no
that's
hair to go gray.
8 bottles of ink. The winner gets 8 bottles of ink.
Woo! 8
Deal.
bottles of ink.
Deal.
Okay.
Wow.
How are we going to do it? You want to do it the same
You're
way?
on.
Let's do it the same way, if Larry doesn't care. Let's do it the same way with Larry's giveaway. They email Larry their name. And then he'll choose the winner. And
I'll let each of you know.
Huh? Do what, Larry?
I'll let each of you know.
Right. And we'll both ship 2 separate places to the winner.
All right, so, folks, so here's the email address. Give it to him.
All right, let me put it into the chat also.
As he types vigorously in the chat, and Mr. Frank's over there like, what have I done? What have I done?
All good.
I'm not involved in this one, Frank. Nope.
You're tough, Greg. You're tough.
No, I'm not involved.
Well, this is being recorded, so we have proof of what they said.
Okay, the address to send your entry to is Larry B 0711 at sbcglobal.net.
Okay, so
Tell them you want in on the ink giveaway.
So how long we're going to run this? Since it's not my show, it's somebody else's.
Your call.
All right, we're doing it now. No,
usually 2 days.
Yeah, we've already got everybody in the room, so they know.
Oh, we can do it now, can't we?
Well, let's just say enter in tonight before midnight.
Okay. And then tomorrow evening,
because everybody on this channel should be the only people, in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow evening, we'll announce the winner on my YouTube channel, and we'll send Craig and Frank the winners' names and the information. So be sure, now listen everybody, be sure to send me your information, how to get the inks to you. I need
mailing address.
Yeah, all of that, okay?
Sorry, Mark, you're not eligible.
Yeah.
Took the word.
Come on.
Let's say it, guys.
Okay, so real quick now, I'm going to get off subject for a minute. For the person who didn't send me the pin to review that I already viewed anyway, my good buddy, thank you, Frank. When are you going to be getting those pins in for like 25 bucks? Those ones.
You're letting the cat out of the bag, but that's okay.
Oh, no, I'll stop. We can stop there now. I'll stop. Never mind. All right, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm still waiting for them to come from India, and I'll leave it at that. So I'll leave it.
Anyway,
I don't know which brand it is, but I'm still waiting for them to come in.
All right, well,
India is still recovering. India is still beginning to open from the lockdown.
Okay, well, there's something else I want to do when they get in.
That's okay. I will. There's a
Hey,
lot of good things going on.
I just want to confirm, Larry, the email, the Larry B0711 at sbcglobal.net.
I'm so sorry.
No, hold on, time out. Right.
I was trying to do two things at once. Let's do Larry B0711 at gmail.com. Sorry.
No, I got to bounce back from that. I thought it was Gmail, but
I got too many addresses.
Now, Craig, are we only having one winner, right? Or two winners? One winner?
One.
One winner, folks. Wow, just the whole enchilada.
One winner is getting 8 bottles.
Whole enchilada, 8 bottles of each.
Mercy me. Can I get in it?
No,
sure.
You're not eligible.
You and Mark. Put both in there.
Mark, you can't get in it, and I can't get in it.
Sweet deal.
Yeah, isn't that something? And we
As the
support
host,
your
you're
brother.
not eligible.
And we
I'm sorry.
support your brother. Oh, okay, that's cool.
I can tell you that I will put a Frankly in there. So most of you know. If you don't, I am Frank of Frankly Inks from Oster. So Frankly Blue came out in 2017. It celebrated Rob's first year in the U.S.
amazing ink.
And Craig did a picture. There's another story behind that. We actually met before. We joked about that the other night. We actually met before, I believe, before the painting was done. And
yeah, we met
actually
months
contacted Oster. You contacted
No,
Oster.
he contacted me.
And he told you to
contact
contacted
me.
And
Told
then
me to
you called
contact
me,
Frank
in the middle of the
New
conversation,
Jersey.
We figured out that we knew each other. That's right.
Yeah, from months
That's
ago.
right.
We
That's
met at the
exactly
Atlanta
right.
Pen Show. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, frankly, Scarlet, I was going with the wind theme, and Craig did a portrait of Scarlet.
Do you
O'Hara.
have any of those paintings handy?
I don't have the butterfly and Scarlet handy, but I have.
You're getting to it. Okay. Go ahead.
I can run over and get them. So Scarlet came out in 18, second anniversary. Frankly Green, this guy came out last year, third anniversary.
Yeah.
And nice, really good dark green.
Yeah, love it.
And this is him.
Beautiful.
Frank Inkstein.
That is good. Yeah, that's just like Frankie in it. Yeah.
I can't look at that without cracking up.
Except for the hair.
You should have seen
Yeah,
me
he sent
painting it. It was like doing Larry's picture.
I said, I'm getting a dark green, and I want a Frankenstein theme. He's like, okay, I got you. So he took a picture of me off the web, and he sent me this.
Enough said, yeah.
There hasn't been that much hair on my head since college. So that is Frank Inkstein. So this year, I told Rob it was my 5th anniversary, and I wanted a color for me this time. So we did Frankly 5th to celebrate my 5th anniversary. And this is a very nice sapphire bluish purple. If you're into dark bluish purple, blurple, this is a really nice purple. And Craig did not only 1, but he did 2 for me. So we got the Pen Show After Dark.
I love that one too. That's cool.
We got the R-rated version with the liquor, the 5th for Pen Shows After Dark.
I love it.
We have the extra large blotter card now, which is almost like a bookmark, not just a blotter card, but even a bookmark that you can use as that as well, that Rob has sent me to distribute along with pens now with ink. Yeah, pens with ink. That's the Pen Show After Dark, the R version. And then we have the PG version, which is basically a cool hot rod at 49 Mercury.
Yeah, that is dynamite. Love the
I
ride.
really like
Yeah.
the car is cool. Yep. So we have that. We were doing the Merc first, and I told him that I was going to name it the Fifth. He goes, Fifth? He goes, I would have done a bottle of ink. He goes, he's done a liquor bottle. He goes, hell, I'll do both of them. I'm like, okay. Great. Thank you much, sir, as always.
No problem.
Right.
Glad to
Me
do it.
step away and get the other ones.
Let them know.
Okay, well, we're getting close to the end of our 1 hour time limit. Frank and Chris, we certainly thank you all for being on here tonight.
Is this going to be recorded?
Yes, this will go onto YouTube.
Okay, so you don't have to have.
Before we go, we have.
Are we going? Okay.
Let me host one more question from anybody that has a question. One last question before we leave.
I have a question.
All right.
What's your view on fake Lammy safaris?
Fake Lammy safari.
Go ahead. We'll let Mr. Geek do that one.
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry,
You're on the spot. There you go.
So I have a pretty relaxed thought of anything that's a copy of pens.
Here's one right here, still in the box.
If a company is going to make a design that's identical or similar or inspired by, as I said, to like a Lamy or Parker or any of the other models, things like that, you know what you're getting. Like, you know it's not that brand, and they're not advertising it as that brand. If it's a company that's making a copy of a pen and then selling it as that pen, so it's a counterfeit, it's fake, that I have issues with. But I've used a lot of clones of really high-end pens that write phenomenally. I know there's a huge market for like Mont Blanc inspired pens coming out of Asia, and a lot of them write really great. But for $30, you're not getting a Mont Blanc. But when a company is clearly making something and trying to pawn it off as something else, they had a Fig Boot. I don't know if you all follow Fig Boot. He had a YouTube video the other night talking about a company that's advertising a Duofold pen using Parker branding and logos and things like that, but it is not a Parker for like $50 online. That to me that's a counterfeit pen. That's playing dirty. But if it's an inspired by and it looks like it and it writes great, phenomenal. I have no problem with it. If you're putting another company's branding on your pen and trying to pass it off as that company, then I have an issue with that. My take.
Well, folks, I guess that wraps it up by the Pen Geek man himself. All right. Well, folks, hey, it's been cool. It's been fun. So now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. MICKEYC, y'all. Real soon. So anyway, hey, y'all, take care. Have a great day, y'all. I had a lot of fun.
Have a good night, Larry. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Craig.
Bye.
Hey, how's it going, Russ?
See you guys.
See you guys. I think. And we're done.